Hey guys, Rodney with Kentucky Personal Defense and Safety. I wanted to give a little update on some stuff. A few things I mentioned my everyday carry before, but I want to cover a few more things. First off, I want to cover my drink of the choice, Ale 81 Kentucky Tradition. This is the diet version. But I want to get onto the my everyday carry stuff, and then I've got a couple of reviews covering some updates, I should say, on some reviews of equipment that I've been using. Number one, my everyday carry, a Leatherman. Actually, this one's a Gerber suspension. It's a nice tool, pocket clip. That's really the main thing that I chose this for. Other than that, for the most part, these are all about the same. Leatherman, Gerber, SOG, any of the good name brands normally will do your job pretty well. Next is my knives. And I use that plural intentionally because from one day to the next kind of changes what knife I'm using. But I've got a few criteria. One, they've got to be a good sturdy blade. Two, they've got to be a liner type lock, preferably. They also have to have a metal frame inside. I know some of the Spydercos I've seen were a plastic handle, had no metal lining in them, and I felt like I could break them. Okay. I also require a pocket clip, and they have to be one hand opening for me. Okay. Now, the one I'm carrying right now the most is one of my favorite brands. I've got really 3 brands that I really lean to as my regular stuff. I've got some other brands that I will use, but one of these is the one I'm carrying right now is Camillus. Great knives, sharp as a razor, nice thin profile, as you can see, one hand opening without any trouble. Okay, they do have a clip. Then also with this one came its little brother, which is just the same knife, just in a smaller size. I will occasionally carry this one. Like I said in a previous video, is my purpose behind a knife is more a utility type knife, because there's more of a chance of me needing to cut something open as opposed to cut someone open. But at the same time, sturdy knife, sharp edge, will get the job done if I need it in an emergency against another person. The other knife I've got with me today is another nice heavy metal frame knife. This one's a Kershaw. It's a actual assist opening. Okay, nice spring load to it, allowing it to actually open. Once I flip it loose, it'll open on its own. Okay, but yet again, very, very, very sturdy knife, very sharp. Pocket clip. This one's a little bulkier, so I haven't been carrying it as much. My other favorite go-to knife, I said there were 2. One was the Camillus. My other favorite is CRKT. The M16 is the one I've been carrying. It's a very small knife. Even the blade is very, very thin. In fact, it's this little one here, the Camillus, the CRKT, the blade is more of a standard shaped blade, doesn't have this belly in it, but the blade itself is thinner from blade to spine than this is. But it's a very, very sharp knife and very, very sturdy. I've got actually 3 of them, slightly different variations on them. I prefer not to have serrated edges. They're fine, but I personally prefer just a standard traditional edge. My carry for today, as far as my firearm, is my Glock 36. It's a single stack 45. For those of you who have tried challenging me on this, this is the original single stack Glock. Okay, this is a 45 caliber, and it's been out for 15-20 years now. Okay, this came out before the 42, before the 43. Okay, but it's a 45 caliber. It holds 6+1 in the standard configuration. With a +1 mag extension, it can be 7+1, which is roughly the same as what a 1911 would carry. Okay, and actually this is roughly, this firearm is, I'll show you on the camera here. This firearm is clear. Okay, see, get down the camera, there we go. Okay, down the pipe. Okay, no magazine. Okay, it is very, very thin. It is a very thin firearm by comparison to a lot of other Glocks, with the exception of the 42-43. Okay, this is actually thinner, I believe, than the 19 and the other 9mm variants. So, Glock 36, why do I carry it? Because I believe in carrying the most powerful firearm that I can control reliably. And I can control this firearm just as well as I can control my Glock 19 or even my Glock 23. And yes, I can control a Glock 23 40 caliber without any trouble. I'll get into that debate about 40 caliber later. Okay. The only thing I've done to this gun, other than adding a +1 onto my reloads, is I've changed the sights out. These are the Ameriglow iDot Pros. These are what I put on all of my firearms. They compare to the Heine Straight 8s. The only thing that I don't like about these is the edges tend to be a little on the sharp side. What I've started doing with any clothing that I regularly wear, like if I have like a sweatshirt, especially at work, is I will take a little extra clothing material of some sort, be it extra sweatshirt material or even a piece of thin denim that I bought, and attach it to the inside of my shirt, the sweatshirt if I'm wearing it, or the what we call a job shirt at work, which is basically a sweatshirt with a collar. If I'm wearing it at work, and I'll put that over inside there, attached in the area where the firearm would be resting, so it'll actually wear through that without putting a hole in my shirt. But it's a very, very, very nice, comfortable firearm to shoot, even with the massive power of a 45. Okay, all joking aside, 45 does have some push. It's, for those of you who don't know, it is not a massive recoiling firearm. I can teach a person to run a 45 caliber who's never fired a firearm before. I can get them to shooting this gun reliably, and if not this one, definitely a 1911, reliably, very comfortably, and very, very effectively in a short period of time, because a 45 is not, as opposed to a 40 caliber, which has a really nasty snap to it. Like I said, I can shoot it very well though. A 45 is more of a push, straight back, if you know how to handle it and how to grip it. Okay. Now, the question is, if I'm carrying a Glock 36, what am I carrying it in today? Well, I've shown in the past the Concealment Solutions Black Mamba, which is a inside the waistband Kydex with a leather back. It's the hybrid style. It's super comfortable, but the one I'm actually wearing today is my Concealment Solutions Cobra. Very solid retention for the gun, okay? But the nice thing about this holster is it works kind of like the best of both worlds between a paddle and a belt slide holster. By that I mean it has these clips, okay? And they call these I believe they're quick clips or speed clips. Jason Christensen, don't go after me if I get the terminology wrong, okay? These work kind of like a paddle. The way they work is they clip under your belt. You actually put this on, and the hooks on both sides, this part and this part, will actually, this part right here, they both have hooks, and they hook on over your belt. And then the opposite end does the exact same thing. And it allows, if you can see, once it curves to your body, it holds the gun right up against you. There is no gap between you and the firearm, except for what is made by your belt. It is very, very concealable, very, very comfortable. And the nice thing is, if I need to take this off, and like I've mentioned before, I am a firefighter. So if we get a fire and I'm carrying my firearm, I can literally, I pop one clip, we'll rotate the rest of the holster out, and it slides right off my belt. Okay. If you want any more information about these, get on the on either YouTube or even go to concealmentsolutions.com. I think that's his website. And he's got some videos about this holster and all of his others. And every holster I've had of his, I absolutely love. There's, like I've mentioned before, there's 2 holster brands that I carry. There's Concealment Solutions, and then there's Q Series LLC by Gary Quisenberry. And both are phenomenal. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is I've posted a few things on Facebook about my dry fire routine. And I started using a product that I like, but I've noticed a few issues. Okay. What I've been using is the Gsight laser training cartridge. It's right there. Okay. There's the back of the box. Okay. It's literally one of the laser bullet type devices. This goes in the chamber of the firearm. The striker or firing pin hits that little black cap, and the laser fires. Okay. It's a reliable device, and I really like it. It's cheap as far as some of these go. It's actually much more cost effective than some of the other brands, but it's got a couple of problems, and I don't know if they're specific to this brand. Okay, I don't know if the other brands, like I believe Laser Light makes one, and some of the others do. The problem is that I have one in 9mm, and it wouldn't fit in my 9mm. I couldn't. The firearm literally would not go into battery. So I had to buy the 380 version, which works, but I have to make sure that it seats back against the breech of the slide. And occasionally I have to actually take something like I've been using a plastic chamber flag that's designed to go down the barrel anyway, and I'll actually stick it down the barrel with the slide close and just kind of push it back in place. Now, I've heard some people have not had a problem with that, where they can use the 9mm and it works fine. But the problem is that I run into is when I was doing my dry fire, I saw that it was indicating that my shots were breaking way right compared to my sights. And I first thought maybe it was where when I put my sights on, I didn't get it lined up right. So I then went and got a laser bore sighter that fits in a 9mm, the type that also looks like a bullet. Put it in the chamber and lit it up, and it was dead on with my sights. So the laser bullet, if you will, the trainer, is off center. And I can rotate it, and it does seem to move a little bit, but with the 9mm it's not as reliable because it's got that play in it from it being a 380 cartridge in a 9mm chamber. Then in comes the 45 caliber. It's better, but you can tell that it is not perfectly lined or aligned. I have to, if I want it to be very, very, very precise, I actually have to put it in and then take it back out and rotate it, and then put it back in and try it and take it back out and rotate it until I get it to the point I want it. So for true precise dry fire, if I'm really working on precision, it's not the best, but it works great for working from a holster on a draw, especially with a timer, where I'm not looking at the super, super tight groups. I'm looking for shots inside of an area at speed. It's also good for working on trigger control, because if I see the shot do, you see the dot there, when I fire and it does that, that's good. But if I see it doing that, I know my trigger brake's not right. Okay. Now, so it works great. I'm not knocking the company, Okay, it's a very good product. I actually like it. It's very durable. The one that I bought for my 9mm, like I said, is a 380. I've probably put 3,000 trigger manipulations through it. The 45 I've only had for a couple of weeks now, and I've put at least 500 trigger presses on it. So I mean, it's a good product. Just know that if you buy it, which I'm sure it's this way with pretty much any of them, you run the risk of it not being perfectly lined up, and you need to kind of adjust it. But for the price, it's hard to beat. I believe this one was $35 on Amazon. So it works great for what I use it for. Now, if I go into using, which I'm wanting to, one of the like laser, the LASR training system for dry fire, I will most likely buy a different laser system. Probably not even this. I'll probably go with one similar to a, I believe the laser ammo is the one that makes it. It actually, you get a kit that will fit down the barrel, and it protrudes a little bit out of your barrel. But you can get the kit that will actually work with multiple calibers. One end goes in the chamber, then the rod threads in, and so on. So I'll look into that. Okay. But here in a bit, I'll see if I can set it up and let you see what a sample of my dry fire routine is. And we'll see if it comes out good. Okay. But until then, stay safe, train hard, and be willing to jump in and help people if they need help. Okay. Until next time, stay safe.